Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So guys, I've been talking to this guy Dustin from Life's Tough Media, and these guys are actually doing a cryptocurrency documentary. They got some pretty heavy hitters that they have been interviewing over the last several weeks. So that's at Life's Tough Media 1 on Twitter, and Backup Bradley is part of this as well. Dustin has actually reached out to me. I'm going to be doing an interview next week for the documentary. But they've got some, there's Crypto Bitlord right there. He's got some photos here on his Twitter with some of the people that they have already interviewed. Anthony Pompliano is one that comes to mind, Roger Ver. I think they got Charlie Lee in here as well. Yeah, look, here's a video of them shooting a segment, I believe, a few weeks ago in Las Vegas with Bitcoin Ben. So yeah, guys, it sounds like a really interesting project, and I'm really excited to see the final product when it comes out. Apparently set to release in Q1 2020. So keep your eye out for that. It's called the Kryptonaires movie, or maybe just Kryptonaires. So now we're a couple of days into November, and apparently this infamous prediction and the fact that we didn't actually reach a $16,000 Bitcoin is gaining some traction here from the CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao. So Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao says he thinks Bitcoin is on its way to 16,000, and in a new tweet, Zhao reacts to a meme celebrating the end of an anonymous Bitcoin forecast. Guys, if you don't know that meme, I talked about it in a couple of videos. It was originally posted on 4chan. They had given an outline of the different Bitcoin prices and how we're eventually going to see Bitcoin price rise. And the first two were accurate, and they fell a little short on Bitcoin's prediction for October, although I still think these predictions have merit because, well, you know, I'll read what CZ Binance says, and he essentially shares the same opinion as I do. Now that the prediction is officially toast, Binance CEO says he believes the leading cryptocurrency will reach 16,000 mark soonish, although he's not willing to put a date on when it'll happen. So in a tweet he writes, LOL, price predictions are easy. It's just hard to be right about the timing. And guys, this is why I can give price predictions to you and I can give you guys a ballpark timeline for them, but I will never tell you when something is exactly going to happen on what date, because that is just insanity. There's no way to guess that. I mean, we can best guess that based on averages, based on history, based on human psychology, what has happened in the past, and give a ballpark, you know, within a range, but I will never tell you for 100% certainty that on a particular day anything's going to happen. So there's that. But meanwhile, crypto trader and analyst Eric Cho is asking his 139 followers on Twitter about the polarizing debate over Ripple and XRP. So he kind of doesn't get it. Can anyone explain to me the hate around XRP and Ripple? As a trader, I use XRP on a weekly basis to send funds through different exchanges to deposit and withdraw. To me, it's super convenient, not sure what others think. And so detractors of the third largest cryptocurrency have long questioned whether the coin is truly decentralized, largely due to the fact that Ripple owns more than half the total supply. Obviously, we know that's hogwash. The question from Cho triggered a deluge of responses. Here's a look at a few of the highlights. So, you know, you get pros and cons everywhere. We get Bank XRP here. Taylor Miles, Digino's assets. So a few people, you know, pro and con, and, you know, somewhere in the middle, people saying, well, it's good for this, maybe not so good for this. But essentially, it's the sentiment that he's asking about and why some people are so pro XRP and why others are so negative XRP. And I think Dominic Skinner on Twitter really sums it up great. That's at Dominic Skinner on Twitter. It's very simple. BTC has delivered on the perception of being anti-establishment, anti-banks, anti-government, and anti-regulation. Ripple is using XRP and is working with establishments, banks, government, and regulators. If you love BTC, then you hate Ripple and XRP. So I agree with like 80% of that. I don't think it is one or the other. I think you can actually like BTC and XRP. But I can tell you one thing, the BTC haters hate XRP for all these reasons that he states. It's the perception of cryptocurrency, how it originated, and where it's going. And I think these BTC lovers, extremists, maximalists, whatever you want to call them, have to realize that cryptocurrency is changing, whether they like it or not. And if they really, really, really loved the ideology behind BTC, they really should be getting into privacy coins like Monero, Dash, Zcash, so on and so forth, because those coins are maintaining the spirit of what BTC once was. That's my opinion on this. I think you can actually like BTC and XRP for different reasons. I do not think that anybody has to be 100% behind one or the other. Obviously, there are people who are 100% behind one or the other, but you know, to each their own. Everybody can have their opinion. It's the free world, and we can think what we please. Anyway, saw this. Analyst flips on XRP as Ripple gears up for annual crypto conference in Singapore. And guys, as you know, historically, we've seen a big XRP pump before the Swell conference. So this from Luke Martin, a venture coinist, says he's giving up on the potential for a big XRP pump ahead of Ripple's 2019 Swell conference. So Swell begins on November 7th in Singapore. And despite initially expecting the price of the third largest cryptocurrency to jump in advance of the event, Martin says his outlook has been invalidated. Wrapping up this thread, as I don't have any interest in XRP anymore, he says the theme worked. Okay, so he talks a little bit about the technical analysis here, and then he says maybe next Swell something will happen, and they get into some details with regards to the volume and the price. I just wanted to kind of address this because I know we haven't really been seeing much XRP movement in the last little while, although we have and we haven't, in my opinion. Let's not forget, guys, that since September 24th, after that big cryptocurrency dump that we randomly saw, XRP has steadily been climbing, okay? XRP hit a low of 22 cents, the lowest it's been for at least recent memory. And then it steadily increased. So I have XRP here on the daily. I'm just going to show you BTC on the daily. And guys, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin didn't see that same kind of pattern. So this is September 24th for Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved sideways for a bit and then fell even more and then rebounded up last week very strongly and is now kind of correcting. So let me talk about Bitcoin for another split sec. This is looking actually really bullish for Bitcoin. We're seeing Bitcoin in a bullish pennant pattern. So another leg up for Bitcoin, I think, in the cards shortly. Now let's go back to XRP. Just you wanted to say that as a sidebar. Guys, this pattern is looking healthy. It is upward momentum, okay? From the 22 cents, we're still seeing an upward trend, higher highs, higher lows. Other than this, which is the anomaly, this big dip here on October 23rd. We rebounded, but still in this level of support. So let me just bring up the numbers for you guys. Since September 24th, BTC has seen an increase of 15.6%, but XRP still leading at a 33.1% increase, okay, since this day here. XRP is still up more since September 24th than Bitcoin. Okay, so that's my bit on XRP and Bitcoin price in the last month or so. But let's talk about this guy and how he is essentially, not wasting any more time on this idea that XRP could rise before Swell. Well, let's look at last year's Swell. It happened on October 1st and 2nd, 2018. Okay, and what happened with XRP at that time? Well, here is the price of XRP before Swell last year. We know XRP on September 18th started its rise, and then by September 22nd, it had hit an inter-year high of 0.763 cents, at least on this exchange. And then Swell didn't happen until October. This is October 1st here, this candlestick, and October 2nd is the candlestick obviously right beside it here. So we saw this pump a couple weeks before. And so you're thinking to yourself, well, Swell 2019, it is happening next week. We don't have a couple of weeks to pump. But guys, let's put things into perspective here. Price pumping all has to do with human psychology, how much money is getting pumped into XRP at any given time. Now, just because XRP pumped 2 weeks before last year's Swell doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to do the same thing this year. What we do have to remember, though, and what I think is even more poignant, is the fact that over 4 days, so September 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 5 days. Oh no, sorry, 4 days, because this is September 21st. It reached a high of 0.763, not the 22nd, my bad. Over 4 days, okay, it only took 4 bullish days for XRP to go from a price of 269 all the way to an inter-year high of 0.763. And I know I had said 300%, but it's actually about 200%. Nevertheless, 200% increase in 4 days. huge gains. Okay, how many days do we have until Swell? 2019, well, today, November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, so there's still 5 days until Swell begins, guys. We always have to remember when this thing moves, it moves fast and it moves furiously. So will there be a big pump before Swell? I'm not saying that there will be for sure. I'm just saying there is still some time for us to see some XRP speculative movement before the Swell Conference 2019. Guys, I want to finish off with this, Mr. B XRP at XRP Mr. on Twitter. It's a PSA. You are not alone. I have helped 25 plus friends and family members get into XRP, but many still haven't acquired much, and others haven't invested at all because they still don't get it. When this happens, I will not feel bad because I educated them for 2 years. Wait for it. And guys, just like I've been saying, when it happens, it will happen fast. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.